What's up, man? Yo, so I've been Instacarting for probably like the last 2 months. And Instacart's cool, pay very well. Um, Pretty easy. I'm Instacarting out of Minneapolis, so it's cool. But as many of y'all know, we've been having a lot going on. We got ICE up here and all this other stuff, whatever. And not too long ago, we had the riots back in 2020. It's this city's been really active, you know. And as you guys can see online, we have a ton of different cultures here, so it's a lot going on with the opportunities for people, and everything already. And so I've been doing it since about November. And I've had really good reviews, 5-star shopper. You only get like 100 reviews or something. I got 98 out of 99 5 stars. The other one was a 4-star. Always on time. Everybody just loves me. I'm very, very good at what I do, and I enjoy doing it. But, sometimes you'll run into, customers who aren't as appreciative of your service per se. Maybe they don't quite understand how much of a service you're actually providing for them, and those situations tend to be very unfortunate for the shopper, because for somebody like me, say I got like 400 deliveries in the last 2 months, and like I said, 5-star, everybody gives me great reviews and whatnot, but you'll get those 1 to 2 bad apples who will be like, they'll lie. They'll say, I didn't get my groceries. They'll do, we live in a scamming era. So, people want to try to always get a one up on the other, come, let me get a couple free groceries or whatever. The little petty things that people do in this world. Well, those little things really tend to hurt the shopper and not so much, the person who's ordering the groceries, the customer. Because once I get it only takes 3 bad reviews, three lies on our name. We don't get an opportunity to you can't really appeal if somebody says you stole their groceries. It's just their say versus your say. And Instacart tends to really lean towards the customers. They don't really give the shopper an opportunity. Which obviously isn't fair for somebody who's out here doing services for so many other people who are so appreciative for the person, and this one bad apple gets them banned off the platform because they lie and say they stole their groceries. And the killer part about it is you don't really get a chance to talk to anybody from Instacart as a shopper. There's not really you can't call a line and interact with these people and say, hey, this is what's going on, and so-and-so is making a false claim. I have proof. I have pictures of me dropping the groceries off. I record every drop off. There is no opportunity for you to do that. It's just a simple, email us here back and we'll review it. And they don't give you an opportunity. So I'm just confused. I understand that we want to, the customer is always right, but at some point we got to respect the people who are actually doing the service and give opportunity to the people who are actually working. This is a job at the end of the day. in any type of job. You can't just go in somebody's job and just go and lie on them, and your manager is going to be like, oh, yeah, you're fired. Yeah, you did that. No, your manager is going to ask you what went on. Why is this person saying this? Well, how many? Then they're going to look at this person. How trustworthy is this person? Do they have a good rap sheet? Do they do this often? Is this, how do you make a decision the day after? So what ended up happening was I had that was my resume. I had 5 stars, 400 plus deliveries since November. I was doing pretty well. I had a couple what would you call it, like bad reviews or something. The first day I did a drop off, and I even sat on the phone with customer service with Instacart because the person gave me the wrong address. This was the first day. They gave me the wrong address. I'm trying to get a hold of them. This isn't my first time doing deliveries. I've done DoorDash and stuff, so I know how to get a hold of customers and stuff. I'm trying to get a hold of the customer. They're not answering. Now, this is 2 cakes. And I had been talking to this customer throughout the whole shopping process while I was at Cup Foods and everything. I remember the store and everything. When I pull up to the address, they're not answering. They're not texting back. They're not calling me. They won't answer. I sat there for like 30 minutes. I want to say an hour. I go in the restaurant that they had me come up to. I showed them the address. They're like, yeah, this is the place. They're like, but we don't have anything for them. I don't know why anybody. They're like, we're closing up. I'm like, okay. Let me call Instacart. So I call Instacart. Instacart basically tells me, okay, sit there. We're going to try to get a hold of them. They're like, okay, we can't get a hold of them either. So what we'll do is cancel the order. You just can finish your night, go do another order, whatever. So I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I cancel the order. 2-3 days later, I get I get an email from Instacart saying I had a violation for taking somebody's order. Like, what? That was violation number 1. You only get 3. 3 violations, you're gone. So recently, my last violation that I got, I was sick I ended up getting sick. My daughter came home. She had the flu. I got sick. So I was out for like a week. So I had been doing orders since November. I've done orders like every day, I do a couple orders, minimum 2-3 orders a day, maybe 10 orders at the highest, So I've been doing orders for a couple months straight, but I got sick. So I took like a whole week off. I couldn't move. I couldn't do nothing. I like 4 or 5 days I was out. I felt better for like 2 days. Okay, boom. So after the 3rd day, like I said, it's been like 7 days at this point. I do my first order or my first day of orders. I do 2 orders. I do my morning order, and then I do one like midday. And sure enough, midday, I don't do no more orders the rest of the day. I go to get on the account because I be trading and stuff. So I took the day off, went and did some research. The next morning, I go to get on the account. It say my account deactivated. It says somebody said their order wasn't delivered. Bro, first off, again, I want to know the process of how you guys are deciding who who is a trustworthy person in these situations. Like, bro, I'm a 5-star, 400 deliveries. Nobody else is saying that I took their order. Why all of a sudden would I take somebody an order of candy? It was candy, and I'll never forget. Like, I know when people, because you see, I record, I take pictures, I know the addresses, my memory is crazy. Like, but that's beside the point. That's not the time I'm on. I'm sitting here, I'm shopping, I'm 400 deliveries, 5-star shopper. I'm getting booted off because one customer makes a false claim. Like, where do we draw the line and say, you know what, we got to put some trust into our team y'all look at the shoppers like we're not a part of Instacart. Like we're not the ones on the ground doing all the work. So I don't know who's making the decisions at Instacart or what's going on, but man, that's not cool. And I know I'm not the only shopper who's dealt with it, dealing with it, and gonna deal with it. If you're a shopper and you're thinking about doing it more, putting more time into it, consider these type of things because you know if you end up leaving your job or something for this, it can be it may not last as long as you think because as you put more time into it, you'll get more people who make false claims and you don't really have the leverage in those in those situations. You don't have the leniency in those situations. They're leaning towards the customers instead of the people who's actually putting in the work for them. And like I said, if I me from my experience as a shopper, that's not fair. I don't think it's fair. So I think other shoppers should consider, and pay attention. And I don't know. Yeah.